Hey guys, MD Prepper here. A quick weapons review and prepping review, I think, of the P38 pistol. 9mm. Walther generally makes them these days. They were made back in the day during World War II by Walther and Mauser and a whole lot of other German companies during the war. I picked this thing up today at the gun show here in Greenville and thought a lot about it. I've shot these before. I've never owned one. This is my first Walther, and this one is Walther. I checked out the marking numbers and all that on it, and I got to thinking, this is a great survival gun. This is a great prepping option. Okay, of course revolvers are great. You know, shotguns are great and all that. You need a decent, reliable handgun. Well, of course, the first thing you're going to think of is a revolver, and I love my revolvers, carry them a lot. But for a semi-auto for cheap, other than say the High Point or some of the things that people consider lower end, this is probably one of the best quality handguns you're going to find for the price. I got this today for $350, which I think was a steal with the nickel plating and all that, and the condition this thing is in. This thing is just tremendous condition. This is one of the older versions. This is a pistol made in 1944, so this is the actual German Nazi stuff. It's got the Nazi markings on it and all that, all the Waffenkamps and all that. Great gun. I know that you can get these things in the blued version with the more, quote, modern ones, post-war, you know, German police pistols and all of that, for about $350 these days. They don't quite look as pretty as this one in my opinion, but, you know, hey, whatever you want. But I've seen them on a lot of websites, a lot of the emails I get, Royal Tiger Imports, a lot of other places offering these for about $350, you know, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on the condition, you know, hand select and all that. $350 for a semi-automatic pistol that is finely made as a Walther is a steal, an absolute steal. So, you know, consider getting one of those. You know, is a Glock, what's that, 450, 500, something like that, 550, just depending on condition, new, used. Is this a Glock? No, it isn't, but this thing's been around a heck of a lot longer than a Glock, and this thing is still a tremendous gun. Again, the P38, I believe it started service in 1938. They're still around, okay? Good guns, all right? I'm not going to field strip this, anything like that. I'm just going to show you the basics. This is the European-style mag release here on the bottom, which takes a little getting used to. I've got one other gun like that. Now, this one, of course, came with the nickel-plated magazine as well, which is tremendous. This was the original mag with it. Again, like I said, I think this is probably a trophy capture pistol, as from what I've read, they did not actually make Walthers during the war, or the P38s in the war, that were nickeled. Now, there's a lot of stories out there, generals and stuff like that that carried them, but there's not a lot of substantiation of that. This was likely carried by just some German soldier somewhere who lost it one way or another, and it was, shall we say, confiscated or acquired by a U.S. soldier who took it back as a trophy. This has no import markings, anything like that on it, so I have to assume this thing was a bring-back firearm. And apparently back in the day, it was quite the standard thing to nickel plate your captured German handguns, just for corrosion protection, just for showiness. And again, it's a trophy gun. So I found this at a pawn shop, well, the pawn shop booth at the gun store, or gun show rather, for $350. Tax included, everything out the door, and I just thought that was tremendous. I'd love to know the story behind this, and especially the soldier who took it home. I really hate to think that, you know, the old soldier who took this back finally passed away and his family just took it to the pawn shop to sell it, but that's sadly probably what happened these days. I don't know. I just had to pick this up. I didn't need it. Absolutely did not need it. Got plenty of other 9s I love, but I just saw this, looked at the markings, knew what this thing was, and knew the likely history behind it. Again, big chunk of my family was World War II vets, so I just could not let this pass up. You know, maybe some family sold this out of financial need, or maybe they just didn't know what it was, but I had to pick it up. Just had to. So, anyway, great gun, great shape. From best I can figure, I can't remember I fired these before. I believe they're 8+1 on the magazines, so 9 rounds. 9mm, of course. Very reliable, very easy to break down. Has a decocker here, which is very unique for this era of a gun. This is one of the first ones that did this. So there's your decocker, so it stays safe. You can carry it like so, and unlike a lot of pistols of the day, like the 1911, it has a double action. Now the safety's still on, but anyway, you can fire this double action if need be. Of course, the preferred way is cocking that hammer back and rocking and rolling with single action. I'm not going to break this thing down at the moment. Magazines, replacements rather, are relatively easy to find. Maybe not in the nickel here. That's going to be a custom job. But get them for about 15 bucks or less on on Cheaper Than Dirt and some other places. Can't remember, Pro Mag, I believe, makes some extra magazines and all that. I will have to get those. Again, this is just a preview. This is just my thoughts, but this would make a tremendous prepping gun. Of course, revolvers are going to be more reliable in the end and blah, 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 all that discussion. Again, I like both, okay? They both have their place. Is this going to be a pocket gun? No. But for a good side carry weapon, it's tremendous, okay? This has seen many, many years of use. Easier to change mags out. So, get a lot of rounds on target. Zombie apocalypse or civil unrest or anything like that. Honestly, I couldn't think of much cooler than standing out there with an old 1944 World War II pistol and cutting loose if you had to. Good gun. Like it a lot so far. Again, I have not shot this yet, but I have fired other P38s, Buddy, stuff like that. My first Walther. Certainly think I'm going to like it. And I will do updated videos on this at some point. Great gun. Just for $350. That's a steal. MD Prepper, out.